The songs of conquest, four factions rise, with power and strategy each claim.
Hello everyone, Rabble here, David, Forde, and Chris here. Today we're doing something a bit different. We're recording this right before the Roots update goes live, and we have not played anything in Roots yet. We haven't been staying away from the open beta, but we just wanted to give some super hot takes on what we think we can expect from the Roots DLC before it releases. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Forde, I want to start with you because you had said you had some ideas of how this might impact the Loth faction. Do you want to open with that?
Well, as the L and Rabble and the main Law faction player, I'm just so happy that once again the Law DLC is getting rolled back even further. As you remember, it was supposed to be the first DLC, releasing around Halloween time, and then the Veneer, and then Roots. I suppose that's what the people want. They want more factions, I guess. But just looking at it and just taking a look at some of the hero wielder icons that have been released, I'm like, Vigil, however you want to say it, is just like a skull connected to some plant stuff, and the same with Brood, very much looking undeady. And the Lost guy and the Floor guy also look a bit similar, but mostly Brood and Vigil.
But
are we just gonna give more
but
factions necromantic stuff?
Forde, I think it gets worse. So, are you aware that the
What?
Roots have a similar power to the Loth Risen, where things can come back and aid you in further combats?
I think it's. I'm
Oh
gonna hop in
joy.
here. I think it's even better than Lots because I think it doesn't raise them based on your units dying. I think it raises it based on the enemy humans you kill.
Yeah. You're rezzing the enemy troops.
Once again, better necromancers than the necromancers is a trend I see
Well, wait.
happening a lot.
But Forde, it gets even worse because
What?
the people you res aren't some other unit like the Risen. They're one of your actual units that you can upgrade. So they're not useless.
Oh, wow. Joy. Well, I'm just glad we're not continuing to fuck over the block. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
honest
like,
opinion.
can they get some ethereal or eternal, statuses like the Veneer and what these guys probably have? No, Loth, no. Oh, okay.
My guess here. This is gonna be my educated guess. I think the fungi and the spawn will be the musicians of this faction. Um, and they will be able to. I'm gonna say they're gonna be able to boost. Either they're gonna be able to boost your magic resistance or debuff the enemy's magic resistance. I think their song will debuff the enemy rather
Oh,
than
interesting
empower their
take.
own faction.
Very interesting take.
So we actually do have a bit of info on what the fungi and the spawn are going to do. So they released a GIF where you see them creating poison all around them. So they've got some sort of AoE attack that damages everything around them.
Oh, kind of like
Um,
acid cloud then.
yeah, and they say they're weak but cheap. With the right research, you can field them in massive numbers, overwhelming stronger foes. In battle, they provide their vessel wielders with creation essence. Their evolved form, the spawn, spreads a poisonous cloud around them, slowly wearing down anything that threatens the tree mothers. So I don't know if that's like an active attack or if that's just something they passively do each turn or if it's an activated ability. But that's what they sort of do is they cause poison around them.
This
Um,
faction kind of reminds me of an unholy unity between plants versus zombies.
I get the same vibes. I feel like undead, poison, and nature kind of coming
Yeah,
together here. It's
this is like
interesting.
This is the be careful who you bully in high school kind of.
You know, it's interesting. One thing I would like to see for this faction, because they're nature based, is healing of some sort. Because I don't see a lot of, if any, healing spells, healing abilities heal
They look more corrupted. I feel
in
like they're
this
not gonna
game.
kill. I think they're just gonna be corruption. Like
No, I'm aware, but I would have liked to have seen a ability of some sort or something to do with healing come out eventually as a new spell or something with a DLC
I
or a
mean,
faction somewhere.
the only thing that heals right now is the hunger. No,
I believe so.
I believe
the
so, and
hunger's
even that
only
that's more
heals.
life steal than heal even. So there's just no heal in the game, and I was
There's no
hoping,
like cleric or anything like that to like heal
yeah,
you. Yeah.
exactly, a spell or a unit that can some way heal others or something would have been
Yeah.
interesting to see, but I doubt we'll see it.
No,
Are you
no,
thinking there's
Um,
new spells with this update?
it doesn't look like there's going to be any new spells, but there's something I want to touch on here, where the roots have a way that they can sort of grow stronger together, and that also impacts. There's a new way that the essence works with them. So each roots unit is only going to produce a single essence. But whenever they're standing next to another roots unit, they're also going to give the essence of that second unit. And so if you have one roots unit, you make one essence. If you have two next to one another, they both make two. And so now you're doubling the amount of essence. If you have like
yeah,
four or five, you
Jesus.
can be making a ton of essence a turn.
you could be making a
Um,
I
ton of essence.
wonder.
I could see
I
a very
wonder if any of them
interesting
produce
mid
more.
to early build where just using essence
Magic.
generators and command to get a really large army of essence generators and can create a lot of essence in very short turns that could just wipe the field in early to mid game.
It kind of like honestly, it really does feel like it's the Plants vs Zombie faction. Like just think of it. Your sunflowers are generating you sun. If you stack them beside each other, they're generating more essence. Like, and if somehow you get like strength and essence, and you like stack two units beside each other, it'll just go crazy. This is probably going to be the best mana generation class.
Essence generation class,
there's
please. Very
Yeah,
simple.
essence
there's one more
generation.
aspect of these people that we need to really delve into that we've been like told about,
Are they people
and
though?
or these plants, and that's the amount of AoE that appears to be in this faction. So we know that the fungus has an AoE poison attack, right? We also know that the heart and pulse have these large beam attacks that appear to be able to go across the map and hit multiple
Piercing.
enemies. So that's another AoE attack. I also expect that the roots of the Tree Mother, at least, have an AoE attack, since if they didn't, they would be the only large unit that didn't have an AoE attack, like the tier 3 unit.
Mm.
So I expect
If
they
anyone,
also get an AoE attack. And then if you look at the 10-second video that they created for the trailer, you see that the flayers when they attack, they like spin blades, and so I could see them
Mm.
also having an AoE attack around them. And so you're looking
kind
at
of like the hunger.
least right, you're looking at least 4 different troops that have AoE attacks of different types.
It seems that with every new faction, range kind of goes out the window. Like range is like becomes less and less because like if you think about the crones, they could teleport across the map, stab you, becoming the best like ranged unit. That's a melee unit. And now the laser beam is like it looks like from some of the images that it's just straight across. It's the entire field. There's no hiding from it. It doesn't seem
My
to be
hot
blocked by
take.
cover. There's no cover mechanic, so it just goes through terrain. It's like
Yeah, we
Nope.
see it
elevation
go
doesn't
through
matter.
terrain, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
elevation
goes right
doesn't
through the train.
matter.
Same with the crones; they jump over walls.
And also, I find like I find them very goofy, the way they walk. It's gonna be an interesting faction.
My hot take is that they're putting a lot of love and stacking a lot of ability sort of stuff, and I hope at one point they revisit the original 4 factions and give them the upgrades and buffs and abilities to stand on par with the new DLC factions. But it feels like there's an escalation of ability for every new
Power
DLC as they become better, as the people who make the game become better at coding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and when they're making stuff.
So
But it feels like, yeah.
we can briefly talk about that. There is a paragraph in their newest statement on Roots where they say, alongside the Roots DLC, the base game will be updated with a range of new features and content, completely free. Well, we won't spoil every surprise just yet, so as of when we record this, we don't know what this is. We can say it includes some long-awaited tweaks and a few unexpected treats that we think will root themselves nicely into your gameplay experience.
Well, they gave a good
Lord-
pun, so I can only give them props.
Lord. Oh, what's the company calling it? God damn it. Lord
Lava Potion?
freaking Lava Potion.
Lava Potion.
Hear my plea now. Give Controlled Berserker to the Horned Ones, and I shall never again doubt your gaming balancing decisions. Please, just give them Controlled Berserker. Make them relevant. They are so useful.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
I've already said my things about the law.
I think it's time for us. We've covered what we know in facts, right? I think it's time to move into wild speculation and like extra spicy hot takes, right?
I'm ready to go. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm a lore guy. I read all the little pieces of lore. I read every little walk by, and so I did that for the veneer. Some interesting story stuff. And only expect.
Where'd you find the Roots lore?
I haven't. That's why it's speculation. It's just,
Oh,
you're gonna have to. They're probably not gonna get their own campaign because I'm speculating because the last DLC didn't.
They said those would be coming later if
Mhm.
if they would ever come. Like they're not going
If they would ever come. So you're gonna get the 3 probably special maps, and you can look around at the signs and get some lore. And so, what's speculation? Just looking at the seed of the mother and root of the mother, clearly a reference talking to you about that because with a tier of the tree mother, the idea, right? Because in combat maps, a win condition can be you get the tier of the tree mother. So I wonder how, in lore-wise, this will all relate to roots of the mother, because that's not the tree of the mother. That's a single root from the main tree, is what it sounds like. And the seed, I don't know. So I'm interested to see what the lore continuation with this stuff is. Wild speculation, right? So,
theory?
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory? All essence comes from the tree of the root mother.
Ooh.
The world's magic is based off this plant. And maybe because of the factions' constant fighting and almost like destroying the world, the tree is like growing these like new units to fight back against the other factions to kind of destroy them from killing the world, maybe.
I don't know. I'm seeing some very like Halo Flood-esque feelings with this faction. Just looking at some of the factions like the Terror and Dread, I'm feeling like there's some spores going around, reanimating or some stuff, or just corrupting, taking over bodies and stuff. So
I feel like they're like antibodies.
Yeah, I mean, wild speculation here. Wild speculation. I'm gonna go with this another morally evil faction, just like every other faction except for the law, apparently. Which I like. You guys say it, and it sounds like it's joking, but when actually looking at the lore and what's going on with the factions, it feels like every faction, like jerky. Like the barbarians are like slaver. The Ron are like genocide, or we're gonna make the entire world a swamp to kill people, sort of things, and the Arleon like suburbians are like fake killers, and like the fairies who are just jerks.
Arleon is
the fairies, yeah.
Of the phase.
Of the fairies were real. Like if you look at the lore, like what like some stuff what happened with Aurelia with the Loth, and it kind of puts the Loth in a really good light, especially considering the only resurrect people.
Also, I think it's Loth propaganda saying that Fae are ruling Arleon. That's Loth propaganda.
I mean, I agree, but it is fact, probably. So the veneer, I looked a bit at the lore, and they're kind of like neutral. They're not like, I don't feel like they're good or bad. They're just kind of Vikings, you know what I mean? So they kind of just be vibing, doing whatever they happen to do. So I'm interested to see where this faction will lie on the theoretical moral alignment. I can't imagine they have higher thoughts. Usually, I mean, you know what I mean, because they're plants. I'm interested to
Mhm.
see if they have higher thoughts. At least they're wielders. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
I
I
wonder what the
mean,
piercer will do. I wonder if the piercer's gonna be like it can hit a
I, wa-
unit's like kind of like the laser beam, or is it just
I
gonna be like
think
another charging
I
unity?
think I think they're going to be like the spearmen from Mario, where they can poke from far away or like through two people and pierce. You know what I mean? Something like
I
that.
feel like they wouldn't do that. It kind of looks like a little, like
considering
almost
they
like it
look
can leap.
well, considering they look like a grasshopper, maybe they're the
Yeah.
musicians.
Would they put a musician in tier two?
Well, I assume they'll put they haven't said which one is the musician, I don't think. So,
What?
uh,
Go.
huh?
Wild speculation. Which one of these units is
Okay,
the
wild
musician?
speculation. I think it's the piercer, because the grasshoppers are like said to be able to like sing or what have you. You know, you've got the grasshopper noises that happens whenever there's awkward silences. So I think it's the piercers, because the spawn have their AOE poison. The vessels, the blighted vessels, are your revived troops, so they wouldn't be great musicians. I don't look at any of the medium units and think they look like a musician, so I think it's the piercers.
I
I'm
I
looking at
I
the
think that's a good take. I would be upset because every sort of faction has their own kind of music generations. The Loth have the people that kind of sing. You have the drums for the Rana. It's a different sort of instrument for each time. And so violin sounds like the Fae. Oh no, sorry, no, the veneer where they have
Yeah.
the violin type esque thing. So I would be upset and disappointed that they didn't pick something more unique and interesting, like I don't know, trumpet.
actually hot take. I think the musicians will be the roots of the tree mother, maybe.
Oh,
That
the
would be
big
very
unit.
interesting.
Ooh,
Yeah, like a
Yeah,
big
maybe
unit.
that
Maybe
might
it does
be
a
that
it.
is a
lot. That would
spicy
be
take.
very interesting. That's spicy. I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be the Lob or Chuck, and it just
I
makes
okay.
like unsettlingly
Editor
fleshy
Ford.
sounds.
Editor Ford, when you're looking at this in the future, please put the lob and the chuck right beside the cabbage thrower from Plants vs. Zombies and tell me you do not see the resemblance. That is a one for one. That is the cabbage thrower. I
uh,
refuse to admit that is the
yeah,
musician. That is a race. Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, well, when they throw the cabbage, the person goes "ow," and that makes sound because that's music. Ow, ow, ow,
I
ow, ow,
I think
ow.
Biker and Piercer will be like an assassin. I think that's gonna be the assassin unit. It has a lot of mobility and
Okay,
no HP and can
really
like roll
take,
something.
really wild, spicy take because this is a DLC. They do not have a music unit. They will not have one.
I mean, maybe they're all music
It's a
units with that
spicy
buff that you were
take,
talking
but I
about.
just don't see it happening, personally.
I think it's
I
gonna be
know.
Roots of the Tree.
Okay,
Roots of the Mother. That's
all
gonna
right.
be the musician.
Well, not to worry.
David,
I'm sure Editor Ford will edit this so that if I was correct, it will make it look bad, and if I was incorrect, it won't be
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I'm sure. Okay. Uh, let's try and wrap this up. Let's all go one by one and give the spiciest take we can think of on Roots and whether or not we think they'll be like broken or garbage. Does anyone
Okay,
want to start? I can
so
start. I have mine planned if you guys want me to start.
you go
I
first.
need a
You go
second.
first.
I need a second to think. Yeah. So
Okay.
why don't you lead us with spiciness?
Okay.
Blaze a
Okay.
spicy trail.
All right. So first, the hot take. I think there's going to be two main ways of playing Roots. You can either focus on your mana generation, where you clump up and use that to like cast a bunch of spells, or you can spread out and use nothing but units and your AoE attacks, because the two don't seem to work together. Like if you're clumped up, AoE attacks don't do much. So I think that the Mano stuff's going to be completely broken against most other factions, because you can just spam so many spells that there's nothing anyone else can do to like stop you. And even the like AoE units like the Hell Roars that might give you problems, you can just justice a ton of times and they'll be dead. Like there's you can't do anything against a boatload of magic. However, I think that while the unit version of Roots is going to, on general, be garbage, I think it's going to have one really good matchup, and it's into the magic roots that loves to clump up, because then you'll have so much AoE on all of your creatures that you can blitz through mana roots or essence roots. So that's my take.
All right, hot take from me. I think the recent reviews on the official Songs of Conquest page will go. It'll stay mixed with the most recent reviews, because everyone complains about DLC. I also think they will increase the price of this coming DLC. Why do I think they're gonna do that? I don't know. I just think they're gonna do it. Uh, I think it's gonna be more expensive than the veneer. They're going to give a reason post-launch that maybe I don't know if they're gonna give a reason. I just feel like there's gonna be an increase in price in this faction
You
because
just hate
it's a
developers.
big
I got you, Chris. I got you.
it's a big faction. Like I know it's like I think there's
Right.
gonna be an increase in price.
So
Also,
but just
the Plants vs
buy.
Zombies allegations are not gonna be beat. I can't look at this faction and not think Plants vs Zombies. Uh,
Just for reference, Veneer was $16 Canadian
it's gonna be
when
20
it was
bucks.
released. So editor, put in the price in Canadian, I guess, for Roots when it comes up, and we can fact check this.
I feel like it's gonna be an increase in price. Another hot take. They're definitely not gonna buff the other factions. I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna give
You know what?
Shielded to like
You know what, Chris?
another Berserker
I'm gonna take
faction.
the exact opposite hot take. I think the extra spicy things they have said they would do is like 80% of the stuff we thought we would see in the Loth Rise Eternal DLC.
So
We'll see
Lava
who's
Potion
right.
does not watch our podcast, okay? Lava Potion would not take our takes seriously.
No, these are hot
You
takes for a reason.
Did you not see our last podcast? Some 400 views of mostly toxic reviews that
I
hate
don't know
us.
if I have a hot take. I just have a lot of there's usually two sub factions in a faction. You know what I mean? Like humans and
Mhm.
Fae,
Yeah.
humans and Baryons, undead and humans for Loth. I'm just like, what is the other like? Is it going to be undead plants, or is it going to be like what's the sub faction for this?
I think it's AoE and Essence. I think that's the two ways to play.
No, but I mean like the creature types, because I can't
Well,
tell.
like,
They all
oh
look like
yeah,
roots.
I guess Rana is Rana and Beasts. I don't know.
It's beasts and Rana, yeah. So I wonder what this one's going to be. Is it going to just be like roots and undead? Who knows?
You've got what, two undead? Maybe.
Well, you have two
Yeah.
esque looking things. I mean,
My hot take, I guess, is this is heavily inspired by Plants vs Zombies. I don't know why I think that, and I think the way the Roots of the Tree Mother moves during the trailer looks kind of goofy, and I like it. I want to see more goofy moving plants.
Mm-hmm.
Please play the clip of it like what does it do? It like hikes up its like roots or something and like meanders.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
editor can put that in.
Put that in the trailer. It's like
it's
they
like
just walk.
does
They like they hike up their roots and they start like crawling. It's like really goofy looking.
yeah, there's like a bunch of like dust effects around the roots. You can't like tell really what's going on, but it does look like they're just hiking up their roots. And
they're just like yeah, it's it looks a little goofy. Also, probably my favorite capital and buildings. They look really nice. The sprite work has only gone up with every DLC. Honestly, they've outdone themselves with this one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ford. Hot take. And no, first, Chris. Do you think it's broken or do you think it's garbage?
Oh, just off of this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's safe to say they're gonna be broken every time. But last time we said that a faction was broken, we might have gotten a little bit of.
Chris, this is not the time for nuance. Is it broken or is it hot garbage?
I feel like it's going to be a little underpowered compared to the other DLC factions.
Underpowered. Okay, so hot garbage.
Slightly bad, yes, garbage, but still better than base factions.
You've heard it here first. He thinks it's going to be hot garbage, the worst faction on launch ever.
Still better than the base factions.
Still better than just Army.
That's what I think.
All right, Forde.
Yeah.
I'm going to go in a very similar vein to Chris, where I'm looking at this faction. And I'm going to go, well, obviously better than the base factions, but never going to be better than the veneer because no offense, but there is always going to be a bias with Nordic countries making Nordic factions. So will not ever be better than the veneer. My opinion on this, garbage or good, is it will depend on the pricing. One thing we haven't talked about, the pricing of these units. And I'm going to say that they are going to mess up, or it's going to be garbage pricing, which will make it so that either it will weigh the scales. So they may be garbage early game, but really good late game when they're going, or really good early game, but then they fall off because pricing. So how they price these units of this faction will decide where in the power structure of a scaling game they are garbage and not garbage, is my hot take.
I love
I'm
that
gonna
we're
throw in one
like,
more thing
we're going to
here.
do nothing but hot takes, and then we give the most lukewarm, nuanced takes that we can muster.
Yeah. Here's a kind of a hot take. I feel like the reason why there'll be an increase in price is because the faction won't use gold to recruit troops. I feel it would use some other resource or
A new
maybe base
resource.
resources to recruit them. Because I feel like all the factions you can kind of justify, oh, they use gold for, I don't know,
It's gonna be sap. It's gonna be
gold
sap.
things.
Not the,
I think
not
it's gonna be like,
the
I
not
think
the
they're
federal-
gonna be more reliant on your resources to recruit these units.
Just
So
you
like it's
need
gonna
like
cost wood.
30 wood for roots.
Yeah.
They work
Build
only
a
off
tree.
wood. I can't imagine any of their buildings will use stone at all.
Yeah, imagine that. Like you're gonna have to like build like 5 lumber mills to sustain
Well,
your
they won't be
economy.
called lumber mills. They'll be called like lumber growers because it goes inherently against the nature of a nature faction to cut down trees.
Maybe this deal is just like an advertisement for like why you shouldn't like we should take global warming more seriously.
It'd be really funny if like if you're going through the lore and you find an advertisement for Plants vs Zombies 3 coming soon to a game near you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up.
Well, I'm looking forward to those conquest maps. Those are gonna be kind of cool.
Yeah.
The new
Hot
Yeah.
maps.
take, the garbage maps will be garbage.
Okay.
No.
Well, I think that wraps up our
Gotta put in-
conversation.
put in a little about the conquest map we're making, right, David? You know, the better one, the one that we're making, that'll be infinitely better than the
I think we leave that for their
I think
imagination at the moment.
I think you guys should get the DLC faction, the Roots faction there for that certain part of the map. The spirit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
Mhm,
it kind of fits in with that.
Yep. I
Listen,
think so.
everything changed when the Roots attacked.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So, anyways, thank you all for listening. If you've made it this far into the video, this is it for today's video. We will be back with more Roots content in a few weeks once we've had time to play a few games, and then we'll release a PvP game and then a more
Maybe a
nuanced
review.
discussion once we see how Roots has shaken up in the meta, where we can discuss them more completely.
Hot after takes, and of course after a multiplayer game where all three of us team up in a team against David for a Win the Crown series, weirdly. But yeah.
Yeah.
He has the target
maybe.
on his head.
He has a target on his head, literally.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you all for listening, and we hope to see you all in the next song.